Hello everyone. We are back again with another chart logic video. Looking to go over December 29th, this Thursday's price action. Kind of just wanted to take a look at it, as well as get an understanding as to where some opportunities were sitting, and where they could have been capitalized on, and so on, to just continually get a little bit better, review some things, and understand the logic of the technical analysis as to what occurs here. So today I focused mostly on the NASDAQ. I did take a position or two in gold as well, but all in all I wasn't too interested with gold. The price action there wasn't as clean, so let's focus on some chart logic for the NASDAQ. You can see I have three main lines here, right, that are kind of explaining what's happening at the moment. These, like, this bottom level resistance here. So early off in the morning, we start with the first candle. We got a big bullish engulfing candle that started off strong with a good pop, right? So once we broke the 10,800, which is where it seems like where things were sitting at, with volume, with good volume at least, not too much volume still, because a lot of traders are, again, not even at their desks, and they're vacationing right now in St. Bart's. The guys that are pushing the big money, pushing hundreds of millions in positions and so on, that actually affect the market much greater than any position that I may put on. But yeah, so we do see, and I can go ahead and drag this out beyond and into that corner there, where we had a support, much greater needed longer tail support, but until the push to the 10,900s, and then rejection out into this down zone here where it acts as resistance. So what that does is it only confirms this level as a level of importance. This 10,800, 810, that range-ish, this like level of magnetism, if you will, that was super crucial within that. And there's a big push on up through. So I actually missed the initial push, this initial 30-minute push that got into this price range. But when it did break this 10,900 level, I was looking to see some continuation, and I was looking for something to catch back up to this level here, where we see rejections and other previous supports as well. It acts very similar to how this level does here. Looking at the 30-minute chart, just trying to see where resistance could be within a longer time period to be able to capture more points in total by looking over a longer trend, right? Because if I can look at a 5-minute chart, and the 5-minute chart is going to give me a trend in relation to about 5 minutes, right? And I can maybe make analysis off that. But the main point that I would like to maybe say here is that if you're using a 5-minute, 1-minute chart to make a decision, I wouldn't expect you to use these 1-minute and 5-minute charts to make a longer term decision, to make a decision that says, oh, I'm going to hold the next 2 hours based off of the accumulation of maybe 4 or 5 1-minute candles, right? It's not rational, and it does. And I personally wouldn't I would make that kind of decision, if you will, right? So if I'm making a decision to catch a play on the 5-minute or a 1-minute chart, I'm looking for precision in entries, and then I'm trying to carry that through, or I'm looking to, I'm trying to carry that through by using confluence and using other, time frames as well to confirm what I'm seeing. Or I'm looking at the 5-minute chart maybe to catch a 5-minute play, like the quick rejection off of resistance, and maybe try to catch the push back down and catch another, or catch a 20-point move or something along the lines where it's much smaller. I'm scalping maybe, rather than looking for the overall move back down and so on, right? So one of the things that I was looking for here that I really liked was the group of candles showing some consolidation here, right? showing some consolidation. And once that consolidation happened, we saw some bullish and bearish engulfings and, doji movements showing a proper indecision. And then we see the continuation and the breakout. So that was where most of the play was able to capture a decent amount in today. And in today's profits, I believe I ended just above 500 in value. So that was a solid day nonetheless. Able to make up for some mistakes that occurred yesterday at $503 in total profit today. Able to capture some good movements here, right? So the breakout of this candle here was where I really found some good positioning, right? Looking to set the stop loss slightly below or within range of these wicks, and then catch the push in totality, aiming for this top region up here, where I could show you guys on the 30 where we were aiming for. But it took a lot longer than I was expecting, and this within this pin candle 15 within this pin candle, I kind of just said, hey, I've got some pretty decent profits here. We may be topping off here. We're not exactly at the point in range yet, but I also wanted to go for a run. So I said, hey, let me just close the position up here where I was at, like about here. So captured about 55 points on that position. And then after my run, I came back and found some other positions, much smaller positions, like I was mentioning, where using the smaller time frames helped. But catching the top, or seeing this as a rejection point, seeing this as a rejection point, right? And understanding that, hey, that we may also be basing here off that, right? And that was where a lot of that was. So if I try to look right here, actually, in this 1 minute chart, I found this trend here, and excuse me, where it was holding, and then I saw this scenario on the 1 minute chart, several candles with a wick to the bottom heavy with more body to the top, showing that there was some potential pressure that wanted to build up to actually push through this zone and push into the next 15 points or so above. So what I was doing was in this position, it was more of a scalp position, but as we continued to build up these candles with wicks to the bottom, I came into this position with the understanding that I'm not going to hold this for very long at all, actually, probably 5 minutes tops. Sat here, built up a few entries, and when we popped and we pushed up back into this region, right? Back into this region, I was thinking maybe we can push back into this, right? And just hold this as a support. Maybe I could even extend this out and this be like a full-on, ride along the train, push it back into that nature. But I started to notice that the pressure popped and moved really quickly, and then very quickly started to lose momentum as well. And I started to look over to the left-hand side using history, and noticed that in some cases, it didn't even fully get back up to this range here. So it could be starting to stretch, right? That extra 10 points may be a stretch. So what I decided to say was, hey, we've seen it crack down. We've seen it crack down multiple times. I'm going to just close this position right here and get these 7 points and out. So that's kind of how I used, longer time frames today, right? The 30-minute and the 15-minute to help me understand where things could go directionally, as well as the 5-minute, right? And the 1 minutes to make, shorter term trades and possibilities. And then shortly after, we do see the crack below as we push back down into this range. And that's kind of, I guess you could say, the message for today to, if you're planning or you're thinking of an option to see, and you see something within the charts and, candle formations, things of that nature, if you're going to, use a 30-minute chart to figure that out, you can expect the trend to last longer, right? Or a 4-hour chart to find something, you can expect the trend to potentially last longer. But when it comes to the 1 minute and the 5 minutes, you have to understand that the trend may be gone within the next minute. And you have to, plan for that and be ready for that accordingly. But that's all for today's chart logic. And, I hope you guys have an amazing one. Probably won't see you guys again until New Year's time, I guess. But if I do, hey, you'll see another video. Enjoy.
Can I get you out my mind? Yeah, shawty, come and waste your time. Yeah, Glock up on my waist, no love. Get you on fire, I'll make you all mine.